right, 6 minutes after 9 o'clock, and little by little, the day starts to look a little bit better, and the radio station just got a lot better because Caroline Baldwin is in the studio. I love this segment. It's a breath of fresh air, and Caroline is here for a full hour. If you have any questions about your lawn, your garden, your plants, your trees. I have a tree question for you. That's why I said that. The number is 622-9622. Good morning, Caroline.
Good morning, Larry. And as I had posted, if anybody's in the garden page, I had an appointment. I made it. Wasn't sure. Yeah,
that's right. You said you might be late.
It's like you get an 8 o'clock appointment, and you're still sitting there at 8:30, and you're going, is he going to make it in here? Am I going to make it there? But luckily, it's close. So nothing. I'm not sick. It's all good. It's just that stupid. It's my stupid knee. You know.
Oh, the stupid knee.
The stupid knee. Now
the other knee is going to get jealous.
The other knee is making up the difference for the dumb one over here that keeps being a pain in my knee. So, but it's all good. It's all good.
So I happen to notice because we do this show. So It's kind of like, when you say look for a red car, you see red cars.
Right.
So you talk about things and then
you see some of them.
And I saw like a lot of places we walked into, they have, and I'm trying to think of where. I think I even saw this in Publix, like some plants already growing.
Right.
That are vegetable plants.
Sure. Well, in Publix, you'll find herbs a lot of times in the produce department. Little pots of herbs.
And you just plant them in your garden.
You just take them home, put them. You can either put them in, make your windowsill garden to where they're handy there for the kitchen for your culinary herbs, or out in the garden. Yeah.
Okay, so there was one news story.
Okay.
I want to let the listeners know. You can interrupt me. I just want to tell Carolina.
Sure.
Did you hear the news story about the tree rule this morning? Okay.
No.
This looks like you didn't. Okay. So this is what it says. Local regulations protecting trees on residential properties would be nullified for 3 months preceding the start of the hurricane season, allowing property owners to trim and or remove trees without a permit under legislation that advanced in the Florida Senate yesterday.
Okay.
It does say later on in the story, I don't want to read the whole thing, it's too long, but it does say that... let's see. It does not apply to commercial.
Right.
Looking for the part about the. Okay. The bill does not apply to commercial properties, and the legislation prohibits specimen, heritage, or patriarch trees from being cut down. Plus, I think you also have to have an arborist.
Probably sign off maybe that the tree could be at risk, that it's just removal of sick trees and things like that, or always recommended. But this way you don't have to go get that permit on top of it.
Right.
I guess maybe you'd need an arborist. I haven't read. Like I said.
Here we go. Sorry, a property owner still would have to get a certified arborist to declare that the tree is a danger to the person or to the property before it can be removed. So
you're still getting...
My questions about this.
I was going to say, an expense on having the arborist, because I don't know if you need an arborist to get a permit to go, listen, I want to take this big oak tree down. It's too huge in my yard. I'm afraid for my house, my driveway, my neighbor, my fence, whatever. Or it's just, I don't want it there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So that gives me another question. So let's say there's a tree, and I say, you know what? Every time this hurricane come around here, I get worried that tree's going to fall on my house.
Right.
I'm just going to take it down.
Right.
So I have to get a permit to take it down?
Yes.
How many people just take it down anyway without knowing that you need a permit?
If you're hiring a tree company...
Oh, they'd take care of that.
They should know about, things like that.
Okay, so now if the arborist says...
the tree is healthy,
and
it should not be a problem. But they'll look and they may make recommendations on pruning instead of removal, kind of thing of whether or not branches or where is it located. The arborist looks at a lot more than just the tree's green, it's fine. They are looking at the roots, where it's planted and such like that. So they are looking at the best health on the tree. I'm sure that I don't know what their leeways are, what the requirements are.
All right, now
what's deemed a true risk. Because who knows, with a hurricane, which side of the state is it coming from?
It gives you 3 months.
Which way?
You can
You've got from March, April, May. So, but which is kind of funny because, after hurricane season runs June to November. So December, January, and February, you got to have the permit as well as whatever else. But March, April, and May, you don't.
Yeah.
So that's going to be kind of
They needed
weird.
to talk to you before they made them.
They needed to look at their calendar and see.
All right, so it says the 3 types.
The specimen,
heritage, and patriarch.
Right.
So
the heritage and patriarch are going to be ones that are listed as almost like protected trees.
So can you name some from this area that fall into those categories?
Off the top of my head, I can't.
And would that be different, like in South Florida?
Wherever you're at.
Okay.
Yeah, because you don't have the big live oaks and things like that down there.
Yeah.
But like
big,
the removal of
trees.
a mangrove, you're not allowed to remove mangroves. You're not allowed to clean out, mangrove groves. Because that's on the water line usually anyway, not up in a landscape normally. I guess they're a crepe myrtle tree, you could get rid of. A ligustrum tree, you could get rid of easily, kind of thing. But usually those are not trees that are going to cause damage. It's usually the much larger trees.
So what if I cut down a tree I planted? I mean, I put it there.
That ends up coming into some of the ones that, that you could, it's easier to get those permits or that to because it wasn't one. Well, many of the trees are planted in.
That's what I was thinking.
But, it's and I'm not sure exactly how that law goes. It's just to keep people from clear cutting or removing trees that are in a threatened species within the state of Florida. I mean, you don't think about it, but yes, plants become they're threatened or extinct or or on the verge of extinction kind of thing that because of removal. Or people taking them out of natural habitat and trying to move them. You're not allowed to move things out of the Ocala National Forest into your backyard just because you like it. It's not legal to be taking it. You take only pictures, leave only footprints. It's the whole thing, and so. With that, I know it's a little frustrating for a homeowner to be able to go, well, why can't I take out this bad tree? Well, if it is a bad tree, you can. You just need to have,
So the other
just to make sure that nobody's just clearing out things without second thought.
I mean, my last question is something I would answer by simply saying, I'm going to call Carol Ann. Okay. But the question that somebody might have is, where would I find an arborist? I would call you, and you would know somebody.
Actually, I don't even personally know any arborists.
Oh, really?
I would call the county extension. All over the county extension office, 671-8400, and ask them. And they'll usually give you a list of 3. If you look online, I didn't bring the laptop with me today. I forgot because I had the doctor's appointment. And I kind of got up with just enough time to do the shower, get something to eat, feed animals, and get out the door. And ask, but you look online for in Marion County arborist, Marion County, Florida. Make sure you get that part of it, and you're gonna get a list. Some of them work for companies, so they're not necessarily going to come out, or they may come out as one of these things. We're going to look at your tree. We'll throw in the fee on that if we're removing the tree for you.
So that's usually the better way to go, just because cutting down your own tree is risky anyway.
It can be. I mean, unless you're knowledgeable. I mean, how many amateurs have hurt themselves or their property, their home, their car, things like that, by not quite knowing or not knowing that the tree might be diseased in the center of the tree. Your water oaks and things like that. You'll have a tree standing 30 feet, 40 feet in the air, be 4.5 feet around, and be rotten in the middle, and you don't know it. So. And
you have a phone call. Good morning. You're on the air with Carol Ann.
Good morning. I get a kick out of this because over the years I've seen a lot of places where the county comes in and chops everything down. I live right near a road that had a beautiful canopy. And when we were first coming down here looking for a home, you could turn up this road, and as soon as you hit the canopy, it felt like 10 degrees cooler.
Sure.
The whole length of this road.
Sure. But that's
and
probably
from
a lot of
27 all the way to heck up to 326.
Right, and a lot of that was probably because if limbs were coming down during storms hitting cars, I know somebody whose windshield was taken out by a limb driving down a scenic road, and it was very horrifying and very close to being deadly.
Yeah, that happens, but I mean, they promise, oh, we're going to do this, do that, and they printed up brochures. Oh, when we get done with this road, you'll still be seeing beautiful with trees. There are none.
Yeah,
they didn't. We're lucky if they planted a little bit of grass.
Right, and then again, it falls back on DOT.
This really disturbs me when it comes to local governments. They tell you one thing and then do just the opposite.
And
it's not just an occasion. It's almost all the time.
Yeah, Department of Transportation has a lot to do with that also, especially if a road is widening. They can't just stick a live oak in the middle of the median. It's not allowed. Or on the sides of the roads and things like that. It has to fit certain criteria for height to either be able to see under the limbs or low enough that you can see over the mature size. So there's all kinds of weird regulation.
With all these regulations, the government is the biggest violation of the regulations they put out there. And that's really hypocritical and very un-American as far as I'm concerned.
I agree. That's absolutely true. Yeah. Especially when you have 3 months where you have to do it one way, and the other 3 months you have to do it a different way.
Well, and county and state are on a whole different thing. Yeah, that's the whole thing. Commercial properties, again, commercial properties are different.
And this is state telling the local what to do.
Right. So.
Well, anyway, I appreciate your programming, and I appreciate you, Carolyn, for coming in and doing the program and all the knowledge that you give out there freely to anybody who calls in.
And I always appreciate your input as well, Sonny.
Well, anyway, have a great day.
Thank you.
And I could do without a rain period a little bit already.
Well, we could still use it. We're still probably a little bit short for the year, but hey, we'll take it while we can.
Okay, have a great day, everybody.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you. And that is one of the aspects of that story. There's a political aspect to that story that really, I mean, you can comment on it, of course, it's your show, but I just thought I wanted to ask about the tree part of that.
Right. And it is one of those kind of things. I'd probably have to look at read the article, a couple times and just, go, okay, how does this work? I mean, because I don't know what the requirements on the permitting is, because I've never had to. I mean, I waited for my Matthew tree to finish falling, and yet the tree was called the Matthew tree because Tropical Storm Matthew brought the tree to brought it partway
fell on your house.
No, not the one that fell on my house. No, this was at my daughter's place where I'm living now. Came partway down and got caught in the crook of another tree, and I left it there. And it stayed up through Hurricane Irma, surprisingly. But, I mean, the tree was dying. So eventually, it fell down, so it's now laying in a yard, and I can cut it up and dispose of it.
So are there laws or regulations that say if a tree falls partially?
I could have had that removed, yeah. But
I mean,
it wasn't
you have
in
to.
danger.
Are you obligated
well,
to?
because that wasn't endangering anyone, anything, any property, it was all contained within my yard, but not near my buildings or anything. Yeah, there was nothing. I just wish... and this, again, we're off of gardening, but it has something to do with gardening, and I don't know if any insurance people would listen. That my thought is, why do not homeowners insurance offer a reimbursement of somewhat if you have removed dangerous trees?
Makes sense, yeah.
Because you could have a tree, say you bought an existing home and the previous homeowner or the developer planted a large tree it was a small tree at the time, but it has since grown. It's now overhanging the home. Maybe it's too close to the home and is now a danger. Well, you want to be proactive and not lose your garage or your carport or your swimming pool cover, your house, your home, your life, and want that tree removed. Well, that tree is probably going to cost you $3,000 to be removed or more, plus permitting. And your insurance company pays nothing.
Yeah.
Your homeowners.
And meanwhile, if it falls on your house.
If it falls on your house, they have to pay out
right.
to have it repaired.
Yeah.
So to me, it would be cost effective to offer a 50% reimbursement.
But then,
and on that,
I think just to be
you're permitting. You're still. It's a legality thing that the state or whatever the county says you can remove this tree. It can be or whatever. That's your
But
at one point, the park where you live, they removed all of the pine trees.
Right.
They took them all out. I watched them. I saw that go on because they were a danger.
Right.
They weren't all dead.
Right. Correct.
They weren't all shedding limbs.
But
they had them preemptively.
But that's private property, and it's also governed by.
It's a commercial property because it's a mobile home park.
But it's governed by the owners of the mobile home park.
It's governed by the county and the state to remove trees.
No, okay, but according to this article, the local municipality governs.
Right, which they require permitting.
The local municipality governance can be overruled by the state ruling for the 3 months prior to the hurricane.
Right, which is said. But I mean, they didn't. I don't think they cut it down because of that. They cut it down because one time during a thunderstorm, one of the pine trees came down and took out a mobile home and I believe a car. During a thunderstorm.
And one of the palm trees did that too. Yeah. Not a car, but right down the middle. It looked like a shoebox that got stepped on in the middle.
Well, the one was a car because I actually saw the car drive around for a while. They had the log cut off on both sides of the car.
What?
It was an SUV, like a
really
Tahoe, something that actually is built on a 250 frame or 25, like a Chevy 2500 frame, or a Ford F250 type frame. So a big SUV that had this 18-inch log in the back of it, and
oh my gosh, wow!
So it was big. But.
All right, phone lines are open if you want to call in. The number is 622-9622. We invite you to call in to ask questions about your trees.
About your trees
about
and all
arborists,
that fun stuff,
or lawn, or fertilizer,
lawn,
or
garden, all the fun stuff. We'll get back on track after
normal
the bottom
gardening,
of the hour.
Normal gardening.
It looks like, though, I'll say at the bottom of the hour, do we want to, I guess we got a couple tickets to Eternity at the Ocala Civic Theater that runs through the 21st of this month.
Wait a minute. Which would you rather have, tickets to Eternity or tickets to Paradise?
Ooh, 2 tickets to Paradise?
You got tickets to Eternity?
Yeah, or Paradise.
But do I want to get on that train?
I don't know, because it's a warm day in Vegas and the Grim Reaper just wants an ice cream sandwich. Would it kill anybody if he treats himself? Well, it might, when his appointments are truly a matter of life and death. This divine comedy is to die for.
Robin and Joe both went to see it.
Loved it?
Mixed reviews.
Mixed reviews.
Robin thought it was funny.
Right.
Joe thought it was good. He didn't find it that funny.
I get you.
So
and it probably comes from
it's a sense of humor.
Yeah, sense of humor type thing. Yeah. But it runs through the 21st, and it looks like I guess we got a pair of tickets that we can give away here at the bottom of the hour.
All right, nice. They always do a good job over there.
Yeah. So Ocala Civic Theater is a jewel of Marion County. So
it really is.
It really is. I mean, we have a fairly rural county and community here in Ocala and Marion County, and it's nice to have that we have the Appleton Museum and the Ocala Civic Theater. I know they're two different entities, but side by side. That are just a great. And
I don't know if you heard that Mary Britt passed away. Did you know?
I did hear that. Yeah,
and she was.
We would. Pillar of.
We would credit the success of that theater to her.
Oh yes.
Chris Jory, I believe, is the gentleman who is the interim executive director.
Over there,
and he's really good too. So I'm sure the quality will continue.
Will continue. Sure. There's why fix something that's not broken. But the community will miss her as well. The theater community will miss her as well.
So speaking of Eternity, she's in Eternity now.
Yes, she said in Paradise.
I guess both. Eternity and Paradise go
Eternal
together. Paradise.
There you go. But no, this is a great time of year. Bless the rain. I know Sonny's had enough of it for a little bit. I wasn't home when it was raining here, but I could tell it had rained hard. When I was driving home at work, it hit a couple rain showers, and everybody's going, "Well, it's supposed to rain all night." I don't know. I never saw any rain after I left work yesterday. So I was like, I got home, I missed it all, so it was okay to me. It watered my garden, so I don't have to turn the sprinklers on today. And the lawns are greening up on their own, which they should be at this point. If you haven't done any fertilizer, put it down. Get it done. If you're needing to, if you say you don't want to go ahead and put down that nitrogen fertilizer, you can do something like the and I can't remember the name of the new one. There's Milorganite, and now there's another brand that's and everybody knows I like Sunnyland brand. I wish I could get them on board to advertise, but. They're doing the same kind of thing. I always said Milorganite's what made Milwaukee famous, not the beer. But this other one is actually going to make. I'm going to get it wrong. I think it's Fort Myers. It's a Florida company. I mean, it's a Florida company, a Florida product also. So it's one that's Fort Myers answer to solid waste. I believe it's Fort Myers or Fort Pierce. It's one of those forts, but I forget which one now. I'll have to ask
that's
my
the human.
It's basically a sewage sludge based fertilizer. It's great for lawns and landscape. Don't use it on your veggie garden.
Why?
It's human sludge.
Yeah.
It's not something I'd be putting on. I wouldn't be putting on my veggie garden because of where it came from.
It would make it toxic or something.
There could be heavier metals in it and things like that you wouldn't want. Metals, yeah. All your fertilizers and things like that do contain metals. There are.
And they end up in the plant?
And they can be absorbed. Yeah. Well, you figure plants use copper, they use zinc, they use some of these things. But when certain fertilizers can have higher concentrations, so you don't want it into something that you're going to be consuming. So. But those two products are great for they almost ought to be advertised as Florida's summer lawn fertilizers. That and there's like some of the big iron products that like your Iron Nite, your Super Iron Plus that don't contain nitrogen. They're just some of the other parts of fertilization. We've already taken the phosphates out of the fertilizers for lawns for Florida because we mine phosphates. So we generally are not deficient of them. Yes, flowering plants, fruiting plants, and vegetables. So do we benefit
the way the horses do?
Probably our water and things like that we have very good water.
We can run a little faster than people.
Well, it's just sturdy bones and strong
maybe
muscles.
There's truth to that.
Yeah. Because I know I got a ton of calcium in my water if I don't use a filter. But we've already taken the phosphates out because we mine it. We're regulating and limiting the nitrogen in fertilizers to be the best. If you're going to purchase one, go with a 50% slow release nitrogen so that it's going to act over a long period of time. You're not putting it down all at once and having a rain event washing it all down into the storm sewers, which we know then don't go down to the creeks, the rivers, the springs, algae blooms. Boom, boom, boom. Yes, big agriculture can be the largest pollutant, but even they're trying to clean up some of their practices. But we, the homeowner, can be just as bad as that because we aren't regulated like others, like others actually are. And so just being a little bit smarter on some of that.
All right, we're coming up against the bottom of the hour. We'll take a little break and be right back. Carolyn will be here for another half hour, so don't forget you can call in at any time, interrupt whatever we're saying because we want to hear from you. The number is 622-9622. Also, during the break, you can call in that same number and claim the 2 tickets to the Ocala Civic Theater to see Eternity, which is a comedy over at the Civic Theater. Robin saw it, gave it 2 thumbs up. Joe saw it, gave it
1 thumb up.
1.5 thumbs up.
1.5.
He liked it. He just didn't think it was funny.
It's funny.
All right, we will take a little break. If you want to call during the break, if we answer the phone, that means you won. If we don't, that means somebody else did. We'll be right back. 622-9622.
Fox News. I'm Chris Foster. Attorney General William Barr speaks to members of the House this morning, his first time testifying in Congress since becoming Attorney General, and the special counsel Russia report being submitted.
What's supposed to be a run-of-the-mill budget hearing is expected to be an interrogation of William Barr about his handling of the Mueller report. Now, despite the fact that Barr is likely to release a public version of the report in the next week or so, Democrats plan to attack his decision-making process in crafting his 4-page summary, which many say exonerates the president.
Fox's Todd Pyro. Another Democrats in the presidential race, California Congressman Eric Swalwell.
I talk to people who are just like me, who are the first in their family to go to college. They've got a lot of student debt, can't buy a home, can't start a business. I talk to kids who sit in their classroom afraid that they'll be the next victim of gun violence.
He made his announcement on the CBS Late Show with Stephen Colbert. He's 38 years old, elected to Congress in 2012. This is Fox News.
Napa know-how.
This month at Napa, you can get a garden hose reel for just $24.99 when you spend $50 on, well, anything. Oil, brakes, Little Tree air fresheners, car wax, car soap, oil filters. As long as it's $50, you can get a self-retracting garden hose reel for $24.99. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Offer ends 4/30/19.
Pros know doing it right means having what you need for any job on hand, so you're spending more time on the job site than away from it. Lowe's does it right by stocking job lot quantities of lumber, fencing, and decking, and at the right prices. Get volume savings on your next job at the Pro Desk, and save time by ordering at lowesforpros.com. Have your order delivered or pick up in store. Our dedicated pro loaders will load you up and get you back to the job site where you belong. Do it right for less. Start with Lowe's. See Pro Desk for details, U.S. only.
Here is your 1-minute news brief. A bill that sought to legalize recreational marijuana in Florida died in the State House yesterday. Local regulations protecting trees on residential properties would be nullified for the 3 months preceding the start of hurricane season under legislation that advanced in the Florida Senate yesterday. In Silver Spring Shores, 3 teenagers were arrested after a man was shot and injured. Work on a new $2 billion high-speed rail project linking Orlando to South Florida could begin as soon as next month. The Chinese woman recently arrested at President Trump's Mar-a-Lago club had an electronic device that detects hidden cameras. The FBI is investigating whether she is a spy. The U.S. Coast Guard rescued 3 fishermen from a life raft after their fishing boat sank in the Gulf of Mexico. And a sneak peek of Disney's upcoming live-action remake of Aladdin will be shown at Disney World later this month. Aladdin will be released in theaters on May 24th. And that is your news brief from The Source.
Clouds will limit sunshine this Tuesday. It'll be breezy and not as warm as yesterday. There'll be a couple of showers and a thunderstorm around, especially during the afternoon and evening hours. The high 78 to 82. Remaining mostly cloudy overnight Tuesday night, lows 62 to 66. For Wednesday, more clouds and sun. There may be a shower in spots along the coast, high 79 to 83. Thursday, sunshine, some clouds and warm, high 81 at the coast, 87 inland. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
In my life, I've learned an important lesson. My age doesn't define who I am. I do.
Comfort Keepers believes in the power of joy and purpose at any age.
In my life, there is a Comfort Keeper.
Comfort Keepers, elevating the human spirit.
Call 855-592-0013 to find uplifting in-home care for the senior in your life. That's 855-592-0013.
Ask yourself, what do you pay for health care? Are you single? Do you pay more than $199 a month? Are you a couple? Do you pay more than $249 a month? Do you have a family? Do you pay more than $529 a month? Yes, you can serve the entire family with health care for only $529 a month. Sign up at any time of the year, pick your own doctor and hospital, ask any questions in our live chat box. It takes 2 minutes to find out how to save. Go to lightyourliberty.com. That's lightyourliberty.com.
All right, 25 minutes before 10 o'clock. Let's rejoin Carol Ann Baldwin, and you're in the garden with Carol Ann for another 25 minutes. If you'd like to call in to the show, we would love to hear from you. The number is 352-622-9622. And don't forget that Carol Ann has created a Facebook group that you can be part of. Simply go to facebook.com and type in the garden, and you'll find the one that Carol Ann started, and then you'll be part of the big group. It's like 60 people or something.
We got 60-something people, yeah. And it's, I guess you had said one time that there is another in the garden, so you're going to probably look for the one. I probably need to try to figure out how to make mine stand out. I may have to Google that other one, but ours should say Ocala, at least if you're looking for it. And I have the like fairy garden picture as the cover page, so you would see something like that.
Yeah, that's a good clue right there.
So it has a little fairy garden. But and today I did get a little like I said, I didn't bring the laptop. The other week I got a book here, and I usually give the books away, so I gotta remember to bring that back with me, and I forget what it was even called. That's terrible.
So yours
but
says,
I've got another one here that we'll probably, I want to look through it a little bit, but look forward to seeing one that says the skillful forager. I can say that. Which I know we got some people who are listeners and things like that I want to take a look through it first before I give it away. So, look
absolutely, yeah. So your Facebook page says In the Garden Group. The other one says In the Garden Sanibel Island Garden Center.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
Theirs is a business.
So there's
it looks like.
right. Where ours is just a group. So they were both in Florida. So
yeah.
But we're not in Sanibel. We're right here in Ocala, right here at the Paddock Mall food court. So, but this time of year, if anybody's paying any attention, all the stores with garden centers are all having sales. This is a great time of year to work on those garden projects. If adding another garden bed, expanding your gardens, whether it be vegetable, flower, shrub, perennial beds. And I guess now they have ruled that you can put vegetable gardens in your front lawn. So personally, to me, I'm going to put, if I can, I'm putting my garden in my backyard because I also don't want my neighbors to come through and pick my produce, or those who are walking their pets. Somebody's, you got that expandable leash and little Fifi and Fufu come walking through the garden going pee-pee and poo-poo. It's just something. And because people, especially if you've got a neighbor who might not like the fact that you have a garden in your front yard. Now if your yard is fenced in the front, okay, that's different. Then you've got a trespass whole issue. So, but if you can put it, put it where it gets its best light, where you can access it the best, the best sunlight, the best access to water, and the best access for you to go out and enjoy it and work it and the rest. Because it doesn't take a lot of work to work a garden. You can go into it on a regular basis, just walking by. You pull the few weeds that you've got, you water as you need, fertilize as you need, and it's pretty easy to do.
And you have another phone call. Good morning. You're on the air with Carol Ann.
Morning, guys.
Morning.
I don't have anything on gardening and that, but I'd like to tell you my experience here. I was at one of the big box centers, garden center here last week, and they were having a sale on bird food. Bag of bird food. So okay, I'm going to buy it, spread it out in the backyard, see what happens. And if I did get a bunch of bluebirds, beautiful bluebirds.
Oh yeah.
Over a dozen of them, and I know they're prevalent down here. And I'm going way back up into Wisconsin, back in probably the 50s when I was a young man. My dad was kind of a bird person. We always had bird houses and bird feeders and stuff in the yard, and we had bluebirds back in those days, along with the robins. And then all of a sudden, no more bluebirds. And I can remember going way back that. I think because of the invasion, I'll call it invasion of the sparrow from England.
Okay.
It ate the food that the bluebirds were, and it kind of pushed them out in the area. And I know we don't have sparrows down here, but they're plentiful up north.
Right.
And I just wanted to say that it was so wonderful seeing that. I had at least a dozen of those blue, and they're so beautiful. They got the beautiful blue back, a robin redbreast in front there, and they're just a wonderful bird.
They are, and you're right. Probably the sparrows probably even chased them out of their nesting areas and things like that, or just bullied them out of the area up north. Here, you can put nesting boxes up. They do like a lot of space in front of their nesting boxes, so that they can see predators, I guess, is what their thing is. A lot of times things like their nest tucked up inside so that they're more protected, or they think they're protected from the predators. But the bluebird boxes, there's actually specific sizing and plans and height off the ground and facing even for bluebirds to get them to nest in your area. I want to say it's like 5 feet off the ground with the entrance hole facing east, I believe is how that goes, with something like at least 20 feet on either direction that's open, that's in a clear area, and that you can get them to nest in your yard. And just make sure your box has got something to where you can open it and be able to clean it out after the nesting season, so that you're not building up any issues with that you may have vermin that would be detrimental to the birds.
I wondered why the sparrow hasn't migrated south.
It could be, again, one of those things that we are too warm to, that conditions are just not appropriate for their survival. Even simple things like nobody thinks about a gypsy moth down here in Florida. I think the moth will survive down here, but the caterpillar itself, which becomes the moth, does not. So it's not, it's one of those things that our climate or the food sources are just not, the natural food sources are just not available.
Yeah, well, the Wisconsin state bird is the robin, and now this winter, because we had kind of a pretty good winter up north. In fact, I guess Wisconsin's going to get some more snow today. But anyways, I had a lot of robins this year. And it's usually when they have a bad winter up there, they come down here this far.
Oh, sure.
Something tells them to get the heck out of there.
Right, yeah, and I mean we usually get a pretty good robin, pass through, and a lot of that too is the berries, how long they're going to stay in the area on their food sources here. If there's a larger population of them coming through, and that they clear out the food source quickly, they're going to be gone much more quickly. I always know that when robin season comes is not the time of year to hang your sheets and towels out on a clothesline to dry, because I do believe that robins aim for those kind of things.
Oh my gosh! Well, anyway, I know one thing I found out: squirrels love bird food.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
So now I got a bunch of squirrels in my backyard, plus bluebirds, and it's all wonderful. But I don't know. I suppose I could put the bird food up on some kind of a pole or something where they couldn't get at it, But what the heck? I think let them eat too, like everybody else. They're all hungry, so let them eat.
Yeah, and if you're feeding them on the ground, that's one thing. Yeah, and your feeders and things like that, what you can do is either the baffles do help, but they have to be hung. Read the directions on how far away, because those will tilt and set them to where they can't get to the feeder, either above or below. Squirrels are smart. They learn quickly. There are supposedly squirrel-proof feeders that'll close with their weight on it. Again, you have to make sure that you're putting them in a good location, and so that there's not something that's going to jam them open. You can use the cayenne pepper kind of thing in the seed, because birds don't have a wet mouth, and squirrels do. And the way you taste the hot foods is because you have a wet mouth. The mucous membranes in the mouth makes it the ability to taste that spiciness. So crushed red pepper, cayenne pepper, it just means you're cleaning out your feeders more often, or even buying the seed that has safflower, safflower. Squirrels don't like that. So if you're doing a feeder that you're trying to keep squirrels out of, using a lot of safflower, cardinals like safflower, I think most of the other birds do, but the squirrels do not.
Yeah. Speaking of squirrels now, I've got a lot of little holes in my yard, and I can see them out there. They're digging. Yeah. What are they digging for? Something, or are they burying something, or what are they doing?
They're probably looking for little bits of something to eat, seeds. They may be trying to, squirrels will bury an acorn. They don't know where it is when it's time to, look for it. So they're digging for, they're either burying nuts or trying to dig up something that's maybe sprouted, or another seed that they're eating on.
Okay, well, anyways, I've got a lot of nature in my backyard.
Sure.
I'm enjoying it until I start getting busy with the grass and the gardening.
Yeah. Yeah, oh yeah.
All right, thank you. And you have another phone call. Good morning, you're on the air with Carol Ann.
Yes, good morning. This is Mark. Look forward to your show every week.
Thanks.
I'd like to start some camellia clippings in a pot. Is there something I should buy, like a root toner or something, to get them started?
Camellias are usually better done as air layering, where it's actually done on the tree. Yeah, that would be, that's usually the way that they're done, is go in about 6 inches or so, 8 inches back, or a little further back on the tree, making that partial cut through, something into the cambium layer, and then propping that open just a smidge with like a little piece of toothpick, adding the root tone to that, moist moss around it, plastic wrap to secure that moisture, and then aluminum foil around that to keep out any light. And so long as the end stays green, you know that you haven't killed that piece. It takes about 6 weeks, 8 weeks before you want to open that up and see if you've got root formation. If you've got root formation, give it another couple weeks and cut that off and plant it. to try to do just the tips to do starts into a pot, yeah, I would use a Rootone. You're going to probably do what we would call semi-hardwood cutting, the new growth that has hardened off some. It doesn't want to be the stiff branch, so you're still looking at like the last like 6 to 8 inches of the tree, of that branch, and stripping off most all the leaves because the leaves aren't doing anything till it has roots. Nice angle cut to it, a little bit of moisture to it, the Rootone on there, and just put them all into. You can put them all into one pot, a couple pots if you want. Nice humid area in some shade, mister to it, misting them, keeping them, because that's the only way that they're rooting medium, like a seed starter, something really loose, something really so that the little fine roots can, have no problem getting through it, and just keeping that being moist, and then just keeping what foliage is there moist, because without roots, it's not taking up any water.
All right, that's a lot of knowledge there.
Yeah, I'll try to put something like that. I'll see if I can get a link on starting cuttings like that. But yeah, if I can try to do it a little slower. If you're going to do for camellias and most anything else, if hibiscus, things like that, we call it semi-hardwood cutting. It's the new growth that has been allowed to mature somewhat. So usually your new growth is happening now. So we usually do those cuttings end of May, 1st of June, kind of time period. So it's still flexible, but starting to become a little more woody. The end of the branch, 6 to 8 inches, and strip off leaves that are going up. Just leaving a few at the top, your rooting hormone into, and then just put it right into your planting medium. And I would use something like a seed starter, just because it's very fine, and those new little roots can get through there real easy. Because you'll transplant up after, if they take after about 6 weeks or so, 8 weeks, you can put them into a regular potting mix.
Okay.
All right. Was that a little clearer?
Thank you so much. Yeah.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Yeah, we have another phone call. Good morning. You're on the air with Carol Ann.
Hi, good morning, Carol Ann.
Morning.
Larry, this is Sonny again.
Yeah.
I want some entertainment. Well, I use the shepherd hook poles and put my bird feeders on the end of that, or I'll actually make one like out of a rebar or something, and then put a plastic water pipe over it, about a 3/4. And then you turn around and you put Vaseline from the top to the bottom.
Yeah.
And I had a bird feeder one time, and I did that. And you could see them trying to go up the thing. They just can't go, and their paws get full of the Vaseline. And it's really hilarious to watch as they're trying to walk. They look like they're walking through, glue or something.
Sticky,
the feet up high and so on. It's really hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
So one of them was pretty smart. I have a bird bath there. He gets on the bird bath, jumps to the pole, and then you see him go like a fireman down the pole. I mean, I tell you, I was sitting there watching it for a couple of hours.
Oh, sure.
Squirrels trying to get that bird seed.
Yeah. They're amazing how quickly they will learn, and that like you say, if you watch them all day or off and on all day, that they've probably finally got there to the bird feed at the end of the day or by the next day.
Well, it didn't happen that day because I did right from the bottom of the bird feeder all the way down on the
so they could
pole of the hook, and it did take a while because they eventually wear enough of the Vaseline off so it dries out, and then they made it up there. But it is the first time you see it.
It is fun to watch. It is
hilarious. Yeah. Anyway, I thought I'd call in with that one.
Yep, give somebody something fun to watch for a day.
Fun with wildlife.
Fun with wildlife. Yeah, there you go. Thanks for calling again, Sonny.
Good calls right there. All right, the phone lines are open again if you want to call in 622 9622. Do I hear Mr. Bill somewhere?
I think so, yeah. Anything we add into the garden, it can always be entertaining. I mean, whether or not we're watching the butterflies and things like that, and the bees and fun, stuff like that. Watch the squirrels, and it is. Some people do feed the squirrels, and I guess that's okay. But I find that they become, I think, more dependent on that, and that if you're and more than, I mean, birds can become very dependent on it, and I think squirrels also, and that if your feeder runs out, they're going to a neighbor who maybe doesn't feed them, or if the neighbor has fruit trees, they're going to go attack that fruit tree too, and they will, and they're going after, if anybody's got any. At this time of year, I'll call it leftover citrus trees, citrus on trees in their yards now. You're either getting, squirrels going after them and eating them, or possibly even fruit rats, tree rats that are going to be getting those.
Oh, really?
So it might be the thing of getting that old ripe or overripe fruit off those trees, to limit that. That damage, to discourage them from wanting to hang out in those trees.
Have you ever had a regular animal who begged from you, like keep coming back?
We used to have raccoons that used to come up and eat with the cats.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of fun.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting. I mean, the cats would usually back off a little bit. Raccoon would eat a little bit and take off. Or I'd have a woodpecker that used to come down and steal dog kibble.
Oh, really?
I would feed the dog outside, and the woodpecker would sit up, and you'd watch. The dog wouldn't be there, and it'd fly down and grab a kibble, look around and fly back up and take up, and then come back and get another one. Usually get 4 or 5, and that'd be
It's much easier than busting his nose through the bark of a tree.
So I'm not sure. Whatever's in dog kibble,
they like it.
They like that. Yeah. Huh. So that was pretty neat.
Because the only animal, the wild animal, I guess, that ever really comes up and begs is a pigeon. I never see, even the squirrels, they don't come up and beg from me.
No, but, because you're not sitting, pigeons are paid because of that.
But they just come up to you.
Seagulls will
fly. Only if you throw it to them in the first place.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
But pigeons will come around even if you're not doing anything.
Right.
If you're just
they're a little more
there.
social. Yeah, I think they're a little more social kind of thing. Yeah.
I got some. You got something for me, I guess.
What else was it? I had another one that used to come up. Actually, it was our raccoon. Actually, that one time she had come by. We hadn't seen her in a while. We figured she had probably been pregnant or something, because wild animals are going to do like that. And comes walking past our sliding glass door, and with 3 or 4 little kits with her. Like she's here we go. Here's the baby. Here's the house. Here's who kept me fed while I was pregnant with you, kind of thing. And it was just kind of cool because they were just playing and tumbling with all over each other and mom and she just came through and stood for a few moments and then off they all went. And,
did I ever tell you about the alligator that liked the music Robin and I played?
No.
In Silver Springs, I am not making this up. We would sit on that bench right near the boats, the glass bottom boats, and every single time we'd play, and we'd look over. There he is.
What, gator hanging out in the water?
An alligator. Well, on the bank.
On the bank, yeah. Wow. Now that one might be a little disturbing on there.
He wasn't eating. He was just listening.
He was just hanging out, listening to the music.
Not sure what he thought.
Yeah.
But anyway,
may have just been basking.
Phone call. Yeah, we're busking.
Basking
he's
and basking. Yeah.
Good morning. You're on the air with Carol Ann.
Yeah, Carol, Hugh again, real quick. Hey, up north, we always call pigeons morning doves.
Say that again.
The pigeons up north, we always call morning doves.
Morning doves and pigeons actually are a little bit different. Your pigeons are usually bigger. The mourning doves.
I wouldn't know.
They're very similar. I mean, but one is a dove and the other is and there's I think just a very small difference based on size.
I like that name, mourning dove. That's
the mourning doves are the ones that we have around here more than anything.
Now, with that, I heard that why it's called mourning dove. Was it's morning, it moves a lot, and it's sound, or it's morning, it's like it's so weird, it's morning.
Their call does sound as if something's in mourning. Is that coo coo? I think is where that comes from. But because they seem to make noise anytime, they don't care.
Right. Yeah.
Because they nest in my garden center, and we always have to watch out because sometimes it'll be like right over the cash register or over where like the customer. It's like, hey, you don't want to stand there. There's birds up above. Yeah. You stand up to the side. You can see where they hang out.
Yeah, I got telephone wires close to where I park my car, and they seem to like to spot cars.
Yeah, they can. Yeah, especially if you like to park under a tree. They're gonna find you.
I don't know if they have something against us or what, but they're good at. They're going to get that windshield just perfect, right where the steering wheel is. It's like they know exactly where to drop it.
I think they do. What's the other one? You got to watch out right now. The cardinals, male cardinals, are very territorial, and they will sit there. My daughter had an issue at one point several years ago where she parked next to this one shrub, and this cardinal would sit on her mirror and just peck at the male cardinal that he was seeing, trying to chase him off because they're territorial. So watch out, if you've got windows, that they may try to attack on that. The mourning doves, no, not so much, but the cardinals really are territorial to watch out for. If you've got hummingbird feeders, and if they make some that actually suction cup to like a window so that you can see it, see them much more up close. Watch out because hummingbirds fly so fast based upon their size. It's like 60 miles an hour is what their speed is that you got to make sure they can see that glass because they're going to hit it.
Yeah, we've had it happen.
Yeah. I mean, birds will hit glass anyway.
But have you ever seen a blue jay down here? I don't see blue jays down here.
Blue jays are down here because they too like dog food and cat food.
Yeah,
I've seen them eat it too. But yeah, we've got the big blue jays as well.
Okay, nice talking.
You too. All righty, Hugh.
Thank you. Hey, by the way, look at this. Look how the word morning is spelled in mourning dove. It's not like the first part of the day.
Right, it is mourning, the sound of mourning.
Like when you die, when somebody dies.
And that's that low coo that they do, is...
Something sad sound. Huh.
Yeah, it's not that it's first thing in the morning because they do all day long. Hear them all the time.
Oh, wait a minute. I got a sound button on here. What's this?
Is there a sound bite?
Yeah, let's see what it sounds like. Where's the sound? It said push the button. Oh, here we go. Does that sound right?
That's it, yeah. Because we have people go, oh, you've got an owl in there. And it's like, no, it's not an owl. It's a mourning dove. Now, we had the excitement. We had a hawk in our building. Not just in the garden center, but he got in the building. He was only there for about a day and a half. He got out. We had to open all the doors, keep them all open, and let people know because, unfortunately, people like to bring small dogs into Lowe's for some reason, and we had to let people
bring
know.
Dogs in here all the time.
Well, and actually, they shouldn't be allowed to do that either because when there's food present, it's illegal, unless it is truly a service dog. And service dogs walk on leashes right beside their owners. They don't wander off. They don't wish to be petted. They are working animals. Companion pets ride in buggies or are carried or are wandering around on the ends of leashes. So know the difference. Leave your pets home. They'll handle the separation anxiety. Get over it. Leave them home so they don't get hurt. They're not having to be left in a car. You're not allowed to bring them in restaurants or grocery stores.
All right. Thank you,
Another
Caroline.
day.
Another good one.
Yep.
Thank you for doing this.
You.
You have to work today?
Yeah. I got to go home, grab my lunch, and head to work.
Oh, my gosh. Okay. Well, thank you for doing this.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
If you want to stay in touch with Caroline during the week, just go to Facebook and look up her In the Garden Facebook group. There are two of them. One's in Sanibel Island. That's not hers. You want to find the one that's right here. You'll probably see about 60-something members on there. All right. Thank you, Caroline.
Thank you, Larry.
We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News, I'm Chris Foster. The Trump administration